Okay, sometimes things don't always work out and trees die, and it looks like we have lost one of our jujubes here. So we're going to replace this with a citrus that needs to be moved out of an area that it doesn't have enough sun. So we're going to be taking some of this soil out here. And Peter is collecting some mycelium here, which is very important in terms of it's a fungi that helps to assimilate the different minerals and nutrients with the perennial trees. And we have a nice, good stash and lots of nice mycelium on this side of the greenhouse, and it's not over on the other side in this kind of quantity. So when we're going to be mulching today, we're going to be actually moving this over there and inoculating this mycelium so that we'll have it throughout the greenhouse. So this is a really important thing in addition to the nitrogen fixing things like the pigeon pea and the leucaena, is to have mycelium working for you. You know, in most perennial landscapes, the mycelium is there working for you all the time. So we had to introduce this, but we actually also have to move it around and make sure that the right conditions are there for it to flourish, so that it actually works with the trees and helps make the trees healthier and they grow better and faster. We're going to be replacing that jujube tree with a citrus tree that seems to be all shaded out here underneath the night blooming jasmine. So things get out of hand a bit, so we have to kind of cut back, move trees, and it's all a process of making opportunities. So we're going to cut this jasmine back. And the citrus is not going to do well in here anyway. It's too close to the shower, so I'm going to have to dig that up and put it over where it can get quite a bit more sun.
Mm-hmm.
And by opening this up here, we can also, get something else in here, some ground cover, some spilanthes. We're not only just planting a tropical food forest in here, but we're building soil as well. Last spring and summer and throughout most of the winter, we grew annuals in the entire greenhouse, and then last January and February we actually put these tropicals in. So they've only been here 9 months. You can see it's a lot of growth for 9 months. It's pretty much completely filled in the canopy. And now we also grew a crop of brassicas under here. So about five months we ate cauliflower, broccoli, kohlrabi, and beans and peas, while the tropicals were what we call a catch crop. And all the time we're doing that, we're also building soils, because we built up these sheet mulched soils with organic material, with worms and mycelium. And so what we're looking at here is some really rich, mostly just worm castings. The worms have actually moved away from this area. There's some worms in here, but mostly the worms have moved on to another area where there's maybe some more raw organic matter. This is very nice soil. We're going to re-mulch this with some llama manure and some wood chips, and kind of restart the whole thing again, so that this process goes on. It's what we call stream of consciousness gardening. The soil is always being improved, and the soil is always regenerating with mycelium and worms and bacteria, and the plants are always evolving. So things get out of hand, they get a little too rambunctious, so we cut them back, use them for mulch, or we can propagate this. We can propagate this in our nursery and and sell like living jasmine. We're going to try and get this up out of here, and we're going to do a little pruning here first. And see if we can get this root ball out of here.
Yeah, that's good.
And let's just drag it on over there.
Another use for a snow shovel.
And we're going to prepare the hole. We've already put a little mycelium in there.
Now what are you putting in?
A little bit of compost. A little llama manure. Humic acid and microbes on as a transplanting solution. It has some super thrive in there too. And then we're going to add some worms. And then we're going to put this in there as quickly as we can. Spin it on there. And let's go ahead and put some of that in. And then let's get some more manure.
More manure.
And some compost.
Mhm.
And we'll add a little more mycelium. Just before we put some wood chips on here.
Good amount.
Add a little more mycelium in the wood chips as it waters in. And
Mhm.
now this citrus will do better over here because it's this is the hottest segment here on the south side of this terrace. It's a lot more sun exposure. We can coppice this as it starts to shade and use it as mulch. You can cut this tomato back as it starts to encroach. And you can see this is a tomato tree here. We have endless supply of tomatoes. We can even use that as mulch if we wanted to.
Good tomato.
And here's a licorice right here that it seems to be struggling. That's a nitrogen fixing plant as well as a medicinal plant. So as soon as it gets over the pill bug attack, it'll be fine. We have spilanthes in here, and we'll go over on the other side and we'll finish mulching this one here, I think. We'll prune up this pigeon pea here. And this happens to be a black pigeon pea. Very good edible pea, perennial pea that grows in the tropics. And you can mix it with rice and have a nice, good protein complement that way. And this will be constantly coppiced as it's growing. So I call it a mule tree. And it fits into our streamless consciousness gardening because It's always being pruned, it's always growing, it's always releasing nitrogen. When you cut this is broken, when I cut that, it's actually going to release some of the nitrogen in its root system that it's fixing through a bacterial association. Because it doesn't need to support this anymore. So some of it dies off and it will go into the citrus, go into the jujube, and some of the spilanthes around here. And actually you can feed this to the rabbits and stuff too. So, and then the next thing we'll do is add some worms. And later on, when the leaves come in, I can put a layer of leaves here. Peter, why don't you put some of the let's put some of the spilanthes down, and then the mycelium down, and then start adding the wood chips. And these wood chips have a lot of some green in it as well, so it's not exactly all wood. They've got some other things. And actually, what we're trying to do is just create a medium for all the different things that are all the soil building interactors here. We're trying to create an environment and some food for them. The mycelium, wood chips, is eaten up by the mycelium, and the worms are eating the compost and the llama manure, and they'll eventually crawl up into the wood chips and eat that, and into the worms. So that's the way nature lays down its soil, and we just mimic that. In permaculture, we're looking at how does nature grow things? How does nature garden? And in the tropics, this is how nature would garden: with pigeon pea, jujube, citrus, lab, papaya, banana, spilanthes, licorice.